After passing through the tunnel, they emerged into a space enclosed by concrete. It was like a pool where the children were playing in the water when Chris met Lamech, Rowan's son, at Oceanus. Following Boralk, Chris also got off from Moceria. After dropping off the two, Moceria returned to the tunnel once again.
That is the palace of the Lamureria royal family,
said Boralk, pointing ahead as he stepped onto the street. At the end of the street, there was a massive building surrounded by white walls. The dazzling palace decorated with shells and corals shining in 7 colors reminded the Dragon Palace in an old tale.
You're going to meet Prince Glenn, right?
Well, yeah.
Chris, unsure of how much to convey, gave a vague reply.
He must be in the palace, you are wearing that, so you should be able to get inside.
Boralk said, pointing at the pendant hanging around Chris's neck.
Yeah, but I've been told by Glenn to come to Oceanus Square.
Oceanus Square?
Boralk replied with a puzzled expression.
The prince is coming to a place like that?
Yeah, probably.
Chris regretted saying it as soon as the words left his mouth. Since the prince is acting in secret, it might have been better not to mention it. In fact, Boralk seems to be suspicious after hearing that. To probe further, Chris asked, "Is something wrong?" Then Boralk shrugged and said, "No, not really."
Well, it's just that it's not really a place where royals or officials come. I didn't expect Prince Glenn to come to a place like that.
Boralk said, looking away, and then nodded as if he had made up his mind. Then he said, "All right, in that case, I'll take you there," and smiled at Chris.
Maybe I'll get a chance to get closer to Prince Glenn, right?
Boralk said with a delighted expression, and started walking without waiting for Chris's reply. Chris realized it was too late. However, it's much more reassuring than going to that square alone. Besides, Chris owes a debt of gratitude to the one who guided him this far. It's not a big deal to introduce Boralk to Glenn. In the first place, it's unreasonable to expect someone to be left in such a dangerous place and come alone. It's only natural to be helped by someone. Glenn wouldn't blame me for that either. Telling himself that way, Chris followed Boralk. Compared to Oceanus, Oceanus had wider streets and more foot traffic. The size of the town was as large as Oceanus, not falling short at all. Palm trees lined the streets, creating an atmosphere reminiscent of a tropical paradise. Saying, "From here, we'll travel by boat," Boralk picked up a small boat in front of the palace.
By the way, why did you come here from the underground world?
Boralk asked as he sat down on the boat.
Actually, my friend had something to do here, so I came along with him.
Chris lied instinctively.
My friend is in Atlia's right now, but I was asked to run an errand in Lamureria. And, I just happened to meet Prince Glenn.
I see, so, you aren't particularly close with Prince Glenn, then?
Well, not really.
Oh, I see.
With a disappointed look on his face, Boralk looked down.
But if that's the case, why did Prince Glenn give that pendant to someone he just met?
Not sure, maybe it's so that if we get separated, I can be safe.
I see.
Boralk crossed his arms with looking somewhat unconvinced.
Well, but the fact that you were wearing it is definitely why I'm guiding you like this now.
Saying that, Boralk nodded to himself a couple of times as if coming to a realization. The small boat carrying them slowly made its way through the winding waterway. Many boats were coming and going in the waterway, and among them, there were quite a few carrying groups of soldiers.
Those guys all came from other cities.
Boralk said, pointing with his chin at the boat carrying soldiers.
Lately, a lot of soldiers have been coming here like this. I guess they're probably looking for the crystal element. Because of that, the residents of Oceanus are on edge. They're worried that something might happen.
If the crystal element is found, does something happen?
No, everyone is worried that conflicts will arise over it. I don't know the details, but apparently, whoever obtains the crystal element can reign at the top of that world.
What do you mean?
It's said that there are a total of 5 crystal elements. Each of them corresponds to the elements of earth, water, fire, wind, and sky. So, for example, if you obtain the water crystal element called aqua, you can dominate all the seas on Earth.
Wow, really?
Chris nodded, but thought that this story was probably just a rumor. Salit had said that the dragon stones do not exert their power unless all 5 are gathered. It was said that having just one wouldn't grant any significant power. However, even in the time of the previous life of Pharos, rumors were running wild on their own. And as a result, he ended up living a life that was tossed around by them. Given that it's a legendary stone, there are probably various traditions about it in different regions. But I must be careful not to get caught up in unnecessary conflicts.
That's why everyone is desperately searching for it.
Borelk said, looking disdainfully at the soldiers passing by on the ship.